What's going on YouTube? It's John Dump here. If you saw in my last video, you would know I'm restoring a 67 Camaro. And as you saw from the title, we are replacing the weather stripping today. Honestly, weather stripping is just one of those things. Nobody wants to do it, but it needs to be done. This weather stripping was crumbled. I'll show you here in a minute. Before I start this video, it is pollen season here in North Carolina. And as you can see, it is not faring over very well. I got allergies and it's not, oh boy. Little update on the car. Y'all saw in my last video, I had the Super 10s put on and I have the H pipe on there. I don't think I've ever shown the, what's under the hood. It's a 383 stroker. It needs some love, you know, I need some cleaning up, especially right now with all the pollen, but it's coming along. It's got hooker headers on there. I need to get that fan shroud put back on there, you know, the little things. And today we're just focusing on the weather stripping. I did get the weather stripping put on this side. As you can see, it's already covered in pollen. That's what the old weather stripping looked like. And that is what I pulled from up here. This door had none on there whatsoever. I've already put it in the trunk, the weather stripping in the trunk as well. That was super easy. That one's kind of self-explanatory, but you know, I'm going to take it off and show you guys again. Since I already did the driver's side, I'm going to show y'all how to do the passenger side. I'll show y'all how to do the weather stripping on the door and the upper weather stripping. I don't have this seal yet. I was supposed to, but they didn't send it in, so I'm waiting on those. Those are super easy as well. They just slide right in and they seal the window between, you know, this window and that window. I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna get to it and I'll do a time lapse and I'll explain the process here and there. This process was super easy. It's very easy. If you have like an hour or two of your time, it's very simple and won't give you too many headaches. Anyway, I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna get to it and here we go. All right, so for starters, what we need to do is this weather strip up here needs to come off if you have any existing weather strip. My other side had this channel completely full of all that stuff that you saw on the ground. I have a little bit of some gunk here, spider webs, cobwebs, old car stuff. But you need to make sure all of this is clear. This channel right here goes from this clip to this clip right here, as you can see. And what happens is the weather stripping is going to go into this channel and you're going to wedge it between these two. I personally am not using weather stripping glue, but there is a lot of people who do recommend it. I would recommend, if you are doing it, do it wisely. Stuff is sticky, and when it sticks, it sticks. There is no going back, and there's a lot to clean up if you try to clean out your channel. But before we get started, you do want to roll down this window. Make sure that one's all the way down because you will have to go back into this channel right here. And then, like I said, make sure this whole channel is free. You don't have any crusty weather stripping or anything. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have the right side lined up with whatever it is. You know, for the door or the upper part, the window seal. So what it is, this door seal, this is for the back that goes along this area. And obviously this one's for the front. So you want to make sure they're on the right side. This bigger lip right here should go toward your car. There's a bigger lip, then there's a smaller lip. This is the channel for the window. So you want to make sure that's lined up correctly. You have the right side. There's a rubber piece right here. Those little holes, right here is where you screw them in, and or you pin them in. And I'm going to show you a close-up of how this actually goes into the channel. So to line it up, what I do is I start off in the corner. I go ahead and push this in the corner right here. I go ahead and just shove this in the channel. Make sure it's lined up good. That way everything can line up properly. And then rest this on those little clips that are up here. That way it stays. So for this part, I am using a screwdriver. I would not recommend using a screwdriver because you could damage something. I am using it only because I know somewhat of what I'm doing, and my plastic tools are in my storage. So what you want to do is you want to push this up here, and you want to shove those little lips in behind that channel all the way around. It's a little idea of what I'm talking about. This channel right here, you can see how that lips out. What you could do is you push that in here. Like I said, I would recommend using plastic tools and plastic trim tools all the way through. But what you want to do is you want to do that all the way down the outside. Another thing you want to take note, as you're working on it, make sure that corner stays there. Sometimes this corner will move, and you got to kind of lodge it back up, make it line up correctly, and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So the next step is to take these clips that, let's see if this will focus, these little clips that came with the car. And what you want to do is you want to bring them here. Those two holes that are at the end, you're going to want to line it up with those holes here. Don't mind my paint. This is just where it was painted orange before, and wasn't sprayed all the way. But you line those up. You will have to stretch this part just a little bit just to make those holes line up with the holes that are in the panel. But just put those clips straight through there, as so. This is hard to do with one hand, but put those in there and line it up with those holes and just push it in. And as you can see, those two pieces are all the way in, and the weather stripping is completely in. Go back and make sure everything is tucked in back behind that ridge before you do anything else. You want to grab your door weather stripping. So the door weather stripping is actually going to start here, go all the way down to the bottom, wrap all the way back up, and it's going to end right here. Now you want to make sure all these holes are clear. Some of these had little pins, they had little plastic pieces where the previous pins were. They're the same thing as the little push buttons that come with the weather stripping itself. If not, like this one right here, closed, just take a screwdriver, pop those in, make sure those holes are clear. So the thing with the weather stripping for the doors, what you want to do is this side right here that has more of the rubber, not the flat side, but this side right here, where it has that little piece coming out, this is actually for the outer part of the door right here, and then the inner part that goes towards the fender is the flat side. Reason being is this will wrap basically around the window and then tuck right into it. So what you want to do is these holes right here, and you have your little pins. You actually want to get those pins through there, make sure those holes are broke. You have 3 of them on this side. So what you want to do, you're gonna come down here. Like I said, make sure all those plastic pieces are popped in, and take this right here and just line it up for right now. So as y'all can see right here, these are where the previous pins were. And I'm gonna show you the pins right here. These are what the little pins look like. They're little pop tab things. You want to take whatever is left in there out. In my case, there are some pins that were left in here with a little bit of that weather stripping. So you want to take this out, make sure those are gone, whatever you need to do to get them out. You see that paint was there too. So as you can see now, these 3 holes are uncovered. There's 1, 2, and then there's 3 right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line this up, make sure these line up, that lines up, and it'll go in just like that. So now what you want to do is each individual pin, clip, whatever you want to call them, is supposed to go into these holes lined up down here. Like I said, make sure all those holes are clear. You'll see them inside the door. Push this in. It is a little tough to get in there. So what I like to do is I like to take a screwdriver, the butt end of the screwdriver, and just push down on it. Make sure it's locked in. Make sure it's locked in where it's supposed to be at least. And then do it that way. Keep in mind, my car is covered in pollen. As you can see, the North Carolina pollen season is upon us. It is absolutely filthy, so don't mind all that. This is new weather stripping. The pollen just makes it look old. But yeah, so what you're gonna do is all the way around, take those clips as I was talking about, and go ahead and go all the way up underneath the door, clip those in, and that one's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna do a time lapse of that real quick, and we'll be on to the other side. All right guys, so same thing with the other side. I got the weather stripping put all the way around the door, and what I'm doing is I'm coming up here, I got my pin put through here, and kind of hard to do this with a camera or my phone in my hand, but what you want to do is you want to pin everything up, match those holes to this, and I'm gonna do that real quick, super easy. There's 3 of them on this side, and that's pretty much it. Now you have doors that shut, they don't rattle around, and like I said, I'm still waiting on my seal that comes in between here, and whenever that does, I'll do a tutorial of that too. It's time to wash the pollen off of this thing.